Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I have a really bad sinus infection. It's like the whole side here. I already made a video about it yesterday. Today I'm just gonna add on to what I was talking about because as you can see, come on guys, let's talk about this here, okay? So below 3% of every player in Marvel Snap has reached 105 Infinite. So I am in a very small portion of the group. Most people don't even make it above 40, and I managed to do this within, I think, 2 months. 2 months. I played this game for about 2 months, something like that. 2 months, almost 3, maybe, not even. And we reached Infinite. So that is a good thing to do. Of course, I don't think that the Infinite card bag is necessarily worth the grind, to be honest. The 500 gold definitely is. This one definitely was not. I don't know. I didn't necessarily like the Omega rewards, but of course the credits are always good. Mystery variants are always nice to have. Credits good, titles good, everything's good. But you know, I don't know, because the thing is, in the season pass we have the same card, just in red, right? Is it the same? I'm not really sure, but it certainly looks close to it. And I'm just gonna add on to the stuff that I was talking about yesterday. So I'm gonna give you a few basic tips and tricks in this game that helped me get to Infinite as fast as possible. And the first thing I want to talk about, which is, I think, at least it is for me. I mean, of course, having a good deck is kind of already, you know, kind of obvious. I don't want to just say you gotta have a good deck, because I'm sure that there's many decks out there that can drag you to Infinite, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right way of playing the game, then you will probably not rank up. And the thing is, I build so many decks, especially also for this channel. You can check the channel out. There's so many different decks. Like, there's always something for someone. So I'm sure that I do have a deck that suits you and your playstyle on my channel. But what I don't talk about much is the mindset that you really need to bring this deck forward, because there's one thing that so many people don't have, and that is the knowledge of when to retreat and when to snap. And I believe that this is the most key thing in the later stages. If you don't get further than 70, 80, 90, especially in 90, if you really only get to 90, then the issue with it is your mindset, and the mindset is probably the most important thing in the later stages. Of course, if you're in rank 20, 30, something like that, mindset is still important, but you can also just win by just laying down cards. But if you don't know what you're really laying down, so there I come to my very first tip, and that is know your deck. If you don't know your deck, you are probably, I don't know, you're probably not really going to win much games. You're just gonna draw into decks, into cards, and you're just gonna literally put anything you get onto the board, and that is not going to make you win into the higher ranks. So I believe at like 30, 40, if you don't know your deck, you're gonna have some serious issues in rank 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 to 100 to 105. You need to know your deck. You need to have at least, I would say, 50 games, at least 50 to 100 games with your deck to you know, get somewhere. At least when you're in the lower ranks, you should at least have a few games with your deck so you can just get familiar with it. Another really good tip that I can give you guys is start building your own decks. I mean, they're probably not going to drag you to Infinite. It certainly did not do that for me either, but it gets you to know the cards. Like, you can almost show me any card in the game and I almost know what every card of the game does. So studying the cards is pretty important. There's a few ones that I don't even have. So, you know, sometimes people get very far with Black Panther, Darkhawk. These are like the big decks where you literally don't need a lot of brain power to just pull them off into Infinite. So Darkhawk decks, Shuri decks, Galactus, Thanos, Sentry. These are the cards that, you know, really don't need a lot of brain power, but they can certainly drag you really far into the 80s, 90s to 100s to the Infinites. Same goes for Null as well. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you kind of have to like get down and understand your deck. So we're gonna start understanding the deck that I was talking about yesterday. After this, tomorrow, I'm gonna just upload a video of pure gameplay. But in this video, this is a little bit of a technical study lesson for the people who really just want to be one with the deck. All right, so it's really important to be one with the deck. So let's go into the deck. Where is it? Yeah, it's my M.O.D.O.K deck. So you kind of really got to understand what each and every card does. So when you make a play, and you know, sometimes same goes with poker, right? You sit on the table and you're waiting for the next card and you're like, please let it be an ace, please let it be this, please let it be that. And you do have this same thing with this deck. And if you don't know your deck, you don't know what cards you're gonna, you know, hope for whenever it's being drawn. So let's talk about the cards, and then we're going to be talking about some strategies that you can utilize, when to snap, when to leave, and so on and so forth. You can also use this technique with all of the other decks that you have, so it doesn't really matter. You can also just, you know, do the same progress that we're doing right now, just with your deck. So just look at your cards and really know what each and every card does, and you have to also realize that you have this card. And the next step from that will be then to work on synergy. Okay, so the best decks in Snap is synergy decks, where you don't only just have one deck, and if that card is, you know, not there or whatever, then the whole plan blows. But in this case, you just have to have a lot of synergy. So even if I don't draw into Morbius, I can still make a play with Dracula, Colleen Wing, and Swarm. I can still, if I don't even draw into my high key cards like Morbius and Dracula, I can still block a lane, like a destruction lane with Cosmo, play Maximus on top of it, and some other plays. You know, you can, there is a lot of it's important for you to have a lot of choices instead of just one. So in this deck, we have Sunspot. It's always a good one drop card. Always drop him in one drop. I always put him on a lane that is not revealed yet. You can do it differently, but every time usually the first lane gets revealed, people tend to play on it, especially in the lower ranks. I've seen it. So people put down, you know, whatever. They put down Electra, for example, and then Sunspot is going to get destroyed by it. So I usually don't do that. Second turn for me is always Morbius. Gotta see where I have to play it. Of course, if there's something like Onslaught Citadel where ongoing effects are doubled, I'm gonna play it there. But yeah, also very important to protect that Morbius with Cosmo. I usually keep Wolverine in my hand for the sake of it, that M.O.D.O.K is gonna get destroy and discard the hand, and Wolverine is gonna put himself onto the board. Sometimes you have the situation where Wolverine, Swarm, and Colleen Wing are together as one, and then you have to make a choice. You either put down Wolverine on 2 and then play Colleen Wing on 3, so your Swarm is gonna get doubled and then doubled again in turn 5 by M.O.D.O.K, or you're just gonna wing it. I've done it too, and it works sometimes because you do have a payoff here. You know, you can sometimes Colleen Wings picks Wolverine, sometimes she picks Swarm, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that combination is just really strong. These 3 cards is a nice synergy as well. Morbius is gonna get buffed by it as well, so it's really good. It's a really good combination. Cosmo, again, just be careful that you don't Cosmo yourself. I've been Cosmoing myself for months, for 2 months now. I've been doing it quite a few times until I don't at one point anymore. So what I do usually, I don't know if you have the problem, but I have the problem. My girlfriend says she never has the problem with Cosmo, but I do have that. I keep that in my mind, and every time I lay down Cosmo, I just go in my head, Cosmo, 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 and I do that almost until the game is finished. Obviously, you also have to think about your next move, but it's really important that you don't Cosmo yourself. And there's a few, like Cosmo, M.O.D.O.K, for example. You just play blah, 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 and then you lay down M.O.D.O.K, and Cosmo is on the lane, and suddenly, boom, nothing happens. And it happened to me yesterday, too, when I was grinding to 105. So I've done it, again, even in 105, I've been doing it. So yeah. Maximus, I usually don't play him without Cosmo. Usually it's gonna be food for M.O.D.O.K that's gonna buff Morbius, or I don't have Dracula or Morbius, something like that, and I already have Cosmo down somewhere. I'm gonna, you know, support that with Maximus. So yeah, that's a nice synergy, because Maximus is going to reveal your opponent's is going to draw 2 cards on reveal, and you can block that out with Cosmo. So he's literally just gonna be a 3/7. Which is really good. By the way, also for the people wondering, like I said, this is part 2, and part 3 we're just going to do gameplay. So don't worry, tomorrow I'm going to upload just gameplay for you guys. Probably even going to record this today already, so we'll see. Then we have Dracula. Dracula is by itself already pretty strong, but if you have Dracula in synergy with Apocalypse in your hand, it's a really, really powerful combination. And that is because later on in turn 5, M.O.D.O.K is going to discard your whole hand, and when Dracula is already on the board, you have Apocalypse in your hand, and he's going to get destroyed or discarded and comes back with 4 power, which is going to make him a 6/12. And right in the end, you will have probably a lot of Swarms, Apocalypse on 12, and America Chavez is going to get into your hand because she's only going to get dropped onto your hand on turn 6. So what you do is you're going to lay down your Swarms, lay down your America Chavez, and Dracula is going to discard Apocalypse again, which is going to make him a 6/16, which is then going to be transported over to Dracula Dracula. So that is basically the idea of this deck. Just so much synergy. It's unreal how much synergy this deck has. Literally every card sort of synergizes with one another. Not almost, like not everyone like Cosmo and M.O.D.O.K and stuff, but everything is there for a reason, and that makes a really good deck. Everything is there for a reason, and you also need to know how to play it. So let's talk about the mindset real quick, because that's what I've been doing for 2 months, right? And it worked. Here's the proof. There's no lie on this. There's the proof. So what I've been doing was I've tried every single deck there is. Probably still haven't gotten all of the you know, decks that there are, but I tried as many as I could until I get stuck with something and until I have the knowledge of retreating and snapping. The important part about this is that because when I retreat, I only lose 1 cube. When I win 2, 4, or 8 cubes. And that is the most important thing. And sometimes I do have losing streaks. I do have losing streaks where I lose 5, 6 games in a row. But for me, that is only 5 or 6 cubes, right? Some other person out there that is gonna use the mindset, that is not going to use the mindset. It might be like 36, 40 cubes you can lose in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. You can lose a lot of cubes in that. But I only minimize it to 1 because I understand at one point where I just sit there and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. Every time I have this feeling where I say, I'm not so sure about this, that's when I retreat. That's when I go. Also, there's some key cards like M.O.D.O.K, or maybe for you have a different deck maybe. If you want to use that, then yeah. And you don't draw into your key card until a certain, you know, round. Leave on a 1 cuber and play aggressive on a good hand. If you have a mediocre, normal, something, yeah, I could win this, go on a 1 cuber. And if you have a good hand where you just go like, all right, this is gonna go like, this is gonna smack in the, you know, it's gonna come in like a meteor, then you can snap and play aggressive. And that is the same thing with poker too. It's the same thing. I'm also a pretty good poker, well, I used to be pretty good poker player, where you just fold. And there is this guy that he was like a 10-time world champion poker player, and he said that beginners in general played too many hands. That's the thing, you know, they literally have all of the cards in the hand, and even if they don't have anything, they still play, they still set their money down. And it's the same thing with Marvel, and this is with Marvel Snap. And that's the interesting part about this game, the mechanic of retreating and snapping to either fluke or actually have something good is really cool in this game. It's like I said in poker, like all in or something like that, right? I'm sorry, I have to sometimes like go with my nose here because all of this is filled with blood, all of the pockets in my eyes and my eye socket and everything hurts. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to tell you about the mindset. Literally play aggressive when you have a really good hand, but if you could just go like, yeah, I still kind of need this card and I need that card, and the opponent starts to snap as well, don't just go like, oh yeah, I want to see how this goes, I want to see where this goes, because I've done this a million of times until I really learned from it, because every time I go like, but I want to see what actually happens. And in the beginning that is actually good for the learning process, but once you reach rank 40 or 50, then you kind of want to let that go. If you're below rank 40 or 30, then you can still do this because you kind of want to see how things play out, because this will eventually teach you, right? Like I said, sometimes I do have the issue that Cosmo is really, you know, I Cosmo myself so many times. I don't know, it's my mindset is also not that just fully there yet, but very important rule, very important lesson to you know, don't overextend yourself. Like I said, when you're new, then take your time, lose a few games, but don't get demotivated by it because you're not playing strategical. And it's also funny because I taught my girlfriend how to play, and then she was like, yeah, I don't have this card and that, and it doesn't look so good. I'm like, yeah, you gotta retreat on a 1 cuber. And then she said, yeah, but where's the fun? Where's the fun? And that is the thing. You have to either be competitive, like I am competitive, and I want to have the highest rank, and I want to have the best decks and the best strategies. Either be competitive or have fun. Competitive and fun is really difficult to move together. It's really not easy to combine these two. I mean, yes, you should also have fun playing this game, but once you're competitive, it's something else. I was sweating when I was on rank 99 and I had 8 cubes. or 9 cubes. I needed 1 more cube to win this, and I was sweating. There was no fun involved. You know, once I reach rank 99 or 98, there is no fun in this. Like, I don't sit there and just go like, oh my god, yeah, this is so great, I'm throwing a party. No, I'm super competitive. So you have to make a choice. Do you want to play this game for fun and just, you know, just throw in once in a while a few decks and just play this and that and draw a card once in a while? Sure, go ahead. And that is absolutely legit. It just, you know, it depends how you enjoy games. But for me personally, I really am competitive and I want to get the highest rank, and I do want to have the best in the best of the best, and I want to be ranked at one point and stuff, you know. And if there's esports, I'm certainly going to sign up and try my best. That's the thing, that's my goal. So you have to see what your goal is. So if you want to be competitive, if you want to rank up very high, if you want to get to Omega, Galactic, and Infinite, then take these tips that I gave you in this video. Tomorrow I will make a video. I will do a few games. I'm also going to be testing some other decks, so in the next video you might actually not see me in this rank anymore. I might actually drop down a little bit because I've been trying some decks. But that is basically the tips that I have for you today. This is how I got into Infinite within 2 months of playtime. This is no clickbait, this is no BS. This is definitely what it is, but I am sick and I'm really happy to get back into bed. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you kind of listened to the end of the video, and if not, sure thing, I'll see you in the next one for sure. So thank you very much for watching. See ya. Goodbye.